Hello. So I'm live on Instagram and I am just waiting to be up live on Facebook. Here we go. There we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Whew. So I've been going live a lot today. All over the place. On my Instagram, here on Facebook. Because I got lots on my mind. I'm gonna wait to see who hops on here. See who's joining us. It's 2 o'clock here in Costa Rica on Sunday afternoon. And I've decided to not do my regular cooking program. I normally am live doing cooking segments on Sunday afternoon, but today I just thought I would come and talk to you guys real brief about a few things. All right, I can see people hopping on here on Instagram. Let's see what we've got going on here on the Facebook side of things. So the title of my live here today is Eating Human. And I always laugh to myself because, hey there, because I come up with the titles for these Facebook Lives, because what I'm doing here right now is my Facebook Live for Rythmia. So if you're tuning in on Instagram, you're probably tuning in on my Chef Meg Pearson handle, but I am doing this live first and foremost for my Rythmia family. Rythmia is a life advancement center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Because what I'm doing here right now is I'm going to turn the volume off here. Perfect. So I can see Shannon has hopped on from Alaska. Nice to see you, Shannon. Dana is saying hi. Rhonda is saying hello from Florida. I sound sad. Dana, sorry, I'm not sounding sad. I've had a couple of people ask me if I'm sad during my lives today. I'm not sad. I've just been thinking a lot lately. I'm in a very pensive mood. I'm not sad at all. I feel really, really great. Life is beautiful. My mom just joined on Instagram. Hey mom, mom's watching me live on Instagram. Normally mom watches me live on Facebook. Marie Skinner saying hi from Montana. Yeah, please let me know if you're tuning in, where you're watching from. Facebook, we usually have people from all over the world watching here on Sunday afternoons. If you're just tuning in, just hopping on, you'll see I'm not live in my normal kitchen. I'm coming to you from my office/workout space here today to just talk to you real quick about something that's coming up for a lot for me lately in the food world, in the foodscape, in nutrition, in the wellness world, in the diet culture that is impermeating most of our lives without us even knowing it. So I wanted to just touch on that today. I'm going to take my glasses off because they are reflecting funny. These are my reading glasses, by the way. If you haven't tuned in the last few weeks, I'm 40 this year and need me some reading gawkers. So those are my new glasses. But what I want to talk to you guys about was just wellness overall, because I do all my cooking demos are mostly just about techniques and ideas for being creative in the kitchen. But the reason I got into the nutrition world and culinary work as my career was because I had to heal a lot of damaged relationship with food that I had over the years. So hey, Gerda is watching from Austria. What's that about? Marnie says. What's what about? The content? I'm going to tell you right now. John is saying hi from Scotland. Super cool. So it must be late in the evening in Scotland. What I wanted to talk to you guys about was, so my history, if you don't already know, I grew up in a small town in Ontario, Canada. I was a bit of an athlete in high school, but early on in my teenage years, I started battling body dysmorphia, which led to an eating disorder, which led to 2 decades of really, really abusive habits to my body. I was restricting, undiagnosed anorexia, but diagnosed bulimic, binging and purging, throwing up, vomiting after meals, and also overusing laxatives. Got really, really bad, in my late teens, and then again off and on through my 20s, and in my just when around the time I turned 30 is when I really had a bit of a turning point with that. So that's my history. And here we are today where I'm teaching cooking classes because I had to make food my friend. And there's many different aspects to that relationship. And if you're tuning in on my Rythmia team, with my Rythmia family here, the power of plant medicine and what it has been able to do for not just myself in my healing my relationship with my body, but with countless other people that have come through the doors at Rythmia. So what we do at Rythmia is we do herbal support therapy, alongside a lot of wellness programs, workshops, and a lot of our mission is to just bring people back to their ultimate truth, which is that we are all infinitely powerful, that we are our own, creator, that we do so much to create the life that we live through the habits that we have picked up and kept in carrying and limiting beliefs that we carry through life. And then we get to recreate how we live our life by breaking those habits and freeing ourselves. So that was a lot of the work that I had to do. So eating human, like what I called this here today, we're talking about wellness without obsession. And I'm just going to touch briefly on this today. I'm not going to go for very long, but I just wanted to talk about how we can all start to really shift the way that we take care of ourselves. Shifting it from how we look and how we think we're supposed to look or how we're expected to look to how we feel, because I think that's a really big step in the direction that we need to head when it comes to healing our relationship with food. I get people coming to Rythmia from all over the place that do everything from following a strictly plant-based diet to following a keto diet to following the no salt, no oil, no sugar diet, and there's just so many ways to eat these days that it's quite complicated and damn saturated out there, when really the best way for all of us to eat is however the hell we want to eat as individuals. So maybe you have done diets, and maybe diets have worked for you. Maybe you're one of those people that says, hey, I follow a keto diet and I've lost 40 pounds, and that's, to me, is a successful diet. My question to you is, okay, the weight loss part of the diet worked, but how is that working for you emotionally? How do you feel? How stressed out are you every single day having to follow that diet? How has it worked out for you spiritually? Do you have a really deep sense of who you are and connection to your truth following that diet? A lot of the times, I think people would have to answer those questions by saying no. Hey, Eden St. James, love from Boston. I miss you. We miss you too, Eden. I know exactly who you are. I remember you. Thank you for joining me here today. So, diets don't work. And if you have a crappy relationship with food, you're going to have a crappy life, because let's face it, food is something we have to face at least 3 times a day in our daily life to keep us alive. It's not something that we can avoid. So we want to make sure that we can have a beautiful relationship with food that's not something we have to overthink and isn't so black and white, and start to learn how to live in the gray area between that, which is, where intuitive eating lives. And that's what I want to talk about here a bit today. So when we hear about intuitive eating, we hear a lot about, there's several different schools of thought in it. There are a lot of intuitive diets out there that are actually just another diet where you have to follow a rigid set of rules in order to be considered eating intuitively, which I think is, crazy. It's just another version of a diet. It's almost like when I was vegan for a while, that was just another way for me to restrict, because it allowed me to eliminate certain foods that I deemed bad at that time. But real intuitive eating has got to come in 2 different parts. First of all, you have to really fully understand and believe that you can eat anything you want. Anything you want, whenever you want, as far as what you're allowed. Because we have these ideas that we're allowed certain things and we aren't allowed certain things. Hey, Annie, good to see you. Not sure how I came across it, but thank you. I'm grateful you found this too. Angel Brewer says hi from Salt Lake City, Utah. Beautiful. So cool. Dana is a conscious eater. Yes, you eat what you want and make sure it's humanly sourced as possibly as I can. Beautiful. So back to what I was saying, intuitive eating, so much about it is knowing that you're allowed to eat whatever you want to eat, whenever you want to eat it. But a lot of people take that to the far end of the spectrum and say, okay, well then if I get to eat whatever I want to eat, I'm going to eat pizza, and I'm going to eat pierogies, and I'm going to eat nothing but cookies and chocolate milk and all of these things that are fine and perfect and good foods. Except if you're just eating all of that and going to that extreme after years of dieting, which a lot of people do, then you're going to feel like shit. And we don't want that either. So we want to find that balance where you can still have wellness in your, be well and vital and have good energy, but not feel, but not be restricting the foods in order to get to that point. So part 1 is being really fully embodying the notion that you can eat whatever the hell you want whenever you want to eat it. And the second part of this is really, really listening to your body and doing that without the extreme rules that a lot of intuitive plans require. So there's a lot of diets out there that claim to be intuitive, and these are the anti-diets, things like the hunger full diet, where you have to eat as soon as you're hungry and you have to stop as soon as you're full. I mean, that's just another diet. So you have to find the balance between knowing that you're allowed to eat whatever you want, but really listening to your body and its signals when it comes to eating those things. Because when you have those two in balance, you start to actually really understand that, hey, my friend just, offered me some sweets when I'm visiting. She had a plate of, sweet treats that had come out. And, maybe my old diet mindset would think, hey, I might as well just eat a bunch of these because I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I can eat sweets again. So you end up eating 6 of them versus, oh, I could have these cookies, but I just had dinner before I came here. I'm not really hungry. Maybe I'll pass. Or I had dinner a couple of hours ago. Oh, I'm a little bit hungry. Maybe I'll have a nibble of this. And I take a bite and I decide, oh, it's not even that delicious. And instead of just eating it anyways, putting it down, knowing that, hey, I can have a cookie, but this one's really not doing it for me, so I'm just not going to eat it. And maybe I'll eat a cookie tomorrow because the cookies are always there. There's that balance that we have to come to when it comes to that. Sammy saying hi from England. Hey, Sammy. Danny says moderation is key. Yeah, so Dana knows, she's put out there that she was bulimic from 15 to 19, and that is a very, very, very hard eating disorder to come out of, because as with most eating disorders, they start, often around food. That's how it's outwardly displayed, but it's really about control. And that's for me what bulimic was. It was bulimia for the longest time, was just controlling my one thing in my life that was, in a seemingly uncontrollable life, or a life that I could not fully connect in. So I just connect to my eating disorder. So that was a big part of that. Pablo says, hello, great topic. Thank you, Pablo. So that's, the key to changing our mind around food and realizing we can eat however and whenever we want is just those two things. Learning how to actually be satisfied, and you're not always going to crave the burgers and the fries and the pizzas and the things that you think you'll automatically crave all the time when you allow yourself to eat whatever you want. Your body will crave things like lemon water and salads and vegetables, and it will still crave the cookies and all of that, but you'll eat less because you know that you can have it. And it's never going to be that last supper mentality that a lot of us, exist in, like, oh, I've let myself have one French fry. I might as well eat 12 plates of them now. And then I know that I'm never going to let myself do this again. That's where we end up overeating and going into this diet cycle all the time. The things that you want to binge on or gorge on when you have the opportunity are typically things that you're restricting. And the minute you stop restricting them, the less you desire them, the less that you need them, and the less that you're going to binge on them. That's just it's fact, it's science. So what are the steps in order to start exploring this world of eating whatever we want? I'm not going to go into great detail here today, and I'm sorry, I keep looking. I'm like looking at 2 different cameras right now. So if I don't look like I'm looking at you, it's because I'm switching between my laptop and my iPhone. The steps you have to the steps you have to follow, baseline are, you have to want to leave this hamster wheel of diet cycle, right? A lot of people still cling to the mentality that their life will be perfect when they lose the weight, when they fit into these jeans, when they get to this point in their life. And a lot of the time, it has to do with a number on the scale or a size, on their clothing tag. And that's not true. The first thing you have to really understand is that you can start living your life now and have all the things that you want now, because you are perfect and beautiful now. And then you have to make the decision to step away from diet culture. Hey, Cindy, good to see you. Hey, Adria, good to see you guys. You need to decide you want to get off that hamster wheel of dieting right now and start living your life. So that's the first thing. And once you make that conscious decision, then that's where the real work begins, because diet culture is going to come at you from all angles. Your friends are going to talk about the diets that they're on. You're going to be reading about the diets, the latest diet that's been proven to protect you from A, B, C, and D. You're going to see all of the books in the bookstore about the latest fad diet that's going to, change your life for the better. Diet culture is everywhere. Your Instagram feed is full of them. I'm sure that people, have unfollowed me because I'm too diet-like, because I talk about food so much and that I post food recipes and things like that. You never know. Anyone that triggers you into slipping back to that diet mindset of, thinking that, okay, this diet is going to give me all of the things that I want in life, that is, that's what you need to start eliminating. Anyone that triggers you in that way. The second step you need to do is, it's part of that first step. It's just detoxing from all of that. So maybe that means unfollowing people on social media. Maybe that means, limiting the time spent with people that are in your social circle that are deep in the diet culture, that they're obsessed. You know them. We all have a friend who everything they talk about is what they ate for dinner, what they're cooking for the next day, the new diet that they're starting, the new, I just read that A, B, C, and D is the most highly carcinogenic food in the world. I'm going to eliminate that along with 6 other food groups because I heard that that's going to help me lose weight. We know, we all have a friend that's like that, right? We don't want to, hey, Jorge, good to see you. We don't want those people around. We need to just take a break from them. Or at the minimum, you need to just, when they bring up these topics around diet, just ask them, change the subject. You don't even have to point out that they're talking about diet. You don't want to hear it. You can just change the subject because you don't need that in your life. And then the biggest step is starting on the self-work, because really the self-work is where the magic lies, is connecting to yourself and really starting to, maybe your first step is just accepting yourself as you are, because it can go really hard from subconsciously hating yourself and your body to loving it. So you got to go somewhere in between, and sometimes that's just accepting yourself. So we have to learn how to start going from there. Plant medicine ceremonies, herbal support therapy, what we do at Rythmia, all really, really powerful tools for that. It's all about reconnecting to yourself and knowing that you are perfect. We are all perfectly imperfect beings, that we are absolute, creation power in human form, that everything that we want in the universe is ours for the taking. We just have to believe it and trust it, but we all forget that as we move on, as we go through life and into adults. We've been layered on with so many handed down beliefs and stories from our families, from society, from so many different angles, that we forget that we are so incredible. And it doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't matter what size we are. It doesn't matter, what we do for a living. All of that stuff it's all part of this 3D world that we're living in. But we are in our true essence, beautiful and perfect. So we have to remember that and start to love that again. So what do we got here? I'm just going to follow on here into, hey, Nathan has hopped on here. Julia says, I love you, Meg. I love you too. So good to have you here. Kylene says, hi. Pablo says, thank you. He said, thank you. He gave me a compliment, which is ironic when everything I'm talking about. Dana says she stopped diets when I learned overnight that my life is too precious. Yeah, that's the thing too. Sophie's saying hi from Montreal, Canada. Oh, bonjour. This is it. Our life is precious and it could end in an instant, Right now, what's going on in the world, we are surviving a global pandemic, you guys. Like, did we ever think we would be saying that in this lifetime? No. So if the worst thing that happens to you in this time is you end up gaining a little bit of weight, who gives a shit? Like, you're surviving a human pandemic. We're stuck in our houses. We're not able to live the lives we normally live, but we're surviving. And as long as we're staying connected and, we're remembering that we're all in this together, who cares about a little weight gain? At least you haven't, if you haven't been directly affected by this virus, aren't we the lucky ones? A little bit of weight, who cares? Who cares? Our life is precious. Let's live it and enjoy it. So, the self-work, huge component, Rythmia. We also breathwork, such an important tool, because a lot of why we eat the way we eat is because we're eating for emotions. We feel emotions come into the body. We don't want to feel them. Usually I'm talking about, what we deem as negative emotions, guilt, shame, fear, worry, anxiety, all of that stuff. We don't want to feel them. What can distract us? Food, right? That's what happens. But what we need to do is start to understand that all of our emotions, those ones we label bad and the ones we label good, are all perfect and normal and natural, and we have to learn how to feel them and be comfortable feeling them. And then we won't need to distract ourselves from them using whatever substance that is. And that can, that applies to food, and it applies to alcohol, and it applies to, binging and purging. It applies to over-exercising. It applies to gambling. It applies to any of the things that we do to distract from what is actually happening in our life and what we're actually feeling. Food is one of the most common ones. So those are the steps. We need to recognize, like I said at the beginning, that as humans, we are allowed and we should be open to and able to eat whatever we want, whenever we want, no matter what anyone says. We have the choice. We are individuals. We have autonomy. And the other component is that we need to also really fully embody intuitive eating in a way that we just really listen to our body, so that we're not just eating all the things that we think we want to eat, but we're eating what our body wants to actually eat, so that we're not overeating on the stuff that makes it feel like shit. We're eating a perfectly balanced, as far as our body is concerned, in any given moment, way of, like, we're eating in a perfectly balanced way that our body needs in that moment, because our body's going to crave things that we actually need. If we eat too much pizza one week, our body's going to actually want some more, probably some more vegetables the next week. You know, it's just the way our body actually works when we listen to it. It's the way the baby's bodies work. I watch my daughter, you know, eat right now, and then I'm in awe because she just eats whatever she wants. One day it's all turkey and cottage cheese. The next day it's all broccoli and pineapple and coconut water. Like, she just knows intuitively what she wants, and that's the way we all need to get. And the steps I want you guys to think about, if this is something that, you know, has been coming up for you a lot lately, is, you know, if you're on that diet hamster wheel, is, you know, start thinking about the first couple of steps here. You have to want to leave, first of all. Do you really want to leave? Ask yourself that question. Do you want to live a more abundant, love-filled and love-fueled life where you're not overwhelmed and overstressed and, you know, anxiety-ridden by what you're eating every single day? Decide. Do you want off of that? Probably. You have to start to detox from the diet mentality. Get rid of stuff in your life that triggers you and brings you back into that world of, oh, well, that diet I heard about is probably the answer to all of my problems. Maybe I'll just try that diet. No, my friends, no. Then the third thing is start on really looking at your self-work and what you can do to really reconnect with yourself. And coming to Rythmia when we open will be a great tool for that. You can, you know, bulldoze through so many limiting beliefs and stories by doing all of the great programs that we have at Rythmia. But everything from studying a bit of breath work, doing some meditation, you know, finding a group that, you know, can support you through this would be really, really helpful. And read books. There's so many beautiful self-help books. Maybe I'll bring a list with me to my one of my next lives when I continue to talk on this subject. But today, what can you do today? Well, start thinking about all this stuff that I've talked to you about, but also start drinking your lemon water every morning. A really great tool. Warm water, fresh lemon, delicious. If you can't get fresh lemon, lemon essential oil, really great way to start the day. Get your body humming. Digestive system rolling, and starting your day off that way with just warm water and lemon sets you off in a great way to stay connected. Because when you make one beautiful decision that's healthy for your body, mind, and soul first thing in the morning, it's going to ripple effect into the rest of your day, that you're going to be making beautiful decisions for yourself. And also get drinking and eating your probiotics, because our gut flora has so much to do with not only how our body metabolizes food, but it has so much to do with our emotions, and it has so much to do with how we live our life and are able to be in a space of joy and therefore connect to ourselves in a more meaningful way. Probiotics and lemon juice. That's my advice for today. If there's anything you guys want to see me cook or talk about here on the Facebook Live in the weeks ahead, please shoot me a message in the comment. I'm just going to go through the list here, see who is watching. I've got Fiona watching, and Renee is watching on Facebook. I've also got Autumn saying, looking forward to meeting you when your time is right. Me too. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you when the time is right. And the borders are open and we can welcome you guys back to Rythmia. Kylene says, I love your attitude. I love your attitude for being here. I really, 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 really appreciate you guys being here. Kayleen says she's been following Spirit Science, who are dear friends of ours. They do a lot of retreats at Rythmia. Annie says, my mom was a food addict. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff that we have around food comes down from our families, you know, and it's not anything that our family has inherently done wrong. It's just the way we as individuals process it. You know, like if your family members are on Weight Watchers or doing, you know, have funny relationships with certain ingredients, then we inherit that, but we inherit it in the way that our unique lens, you know, decides to translate it. So sometimes it can lead to our own disordered way of thinking about food and diet. So thinking about that and looking back at your family relationships is a really big part of this as well. Patricia says, yeah, bibliography, please. Okay, I'll make you guys a book and we'll talk about it. Hey, Jen Brown, I'll see you later today live. Also, my love. Dana says, I think it's a book recommendation. It just kept my comments just skipped here. Kim says, hey, Kim. My dear Fiona's watching. Such an important message I'm sharing. Thank you. And Patricia's watching from Delaney, Arkansas. George Bell says, hi from Stony Creek, Ontario. Kevin's gone back to work. He says, I've got a lot of people watching on Instagram too. All right, you guys. I don't know how I managed to talk for nearly a half an hour on this. I mean, I probably could talk for many, many more, because I'm very passionate about it and it's been on my mind a lot lately. If you have any questions about any of this, send us a message again in the comments now, or if you're watching this on a replay, let me know what you'd like to hear me talk about in upcoming lives. I'm going to be doing an equal parts cooking, I think, and an equal part talking about this and just food philosophy and, ways that we can begin to improve our relationship with our bodies and our emotions through food, through diet, through self-care practices, and all of that good stuff. All right. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. I know I intend to. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.